I recently quit my full-time job last week. They thought because of these courses that people take, and just be wary of some of these courses. The whole goal is for you to pay your money. Hi, my name is DeAndre French. I am the CEO of Creation Avenue Media. We're a local firm that operates directly out of Boca Raton, and I'm happy to be here.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, young Chief DeAndre French. That name sounds like you gotta have some money or be on your way to make a real legacy for what comes after you. DeAndre French. I almost wanted to, take the name myself and start speaking French to y'all, but I can't do that well. But he's gonna give us the game on his company, which you guys are going to say, Kellen, you always bring people who do similar things. And it's because I like to show with unity, we all win. I like to show younger talent because as my hairline recedes, I see him have a full set of hair, family, and doing it well. DeAndre, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Kellen. How are you today?
Blessed by the best always. And, I mentioned being I say younger just because after you get a colonoscopy, you feel like an old man. I want to know, how did you just jump out on faith to create your company? And I also want to know the support that you had and some of are you sure you want to do that? Because there's an entrepreneur listening right now who doesn't know if they can just jump out on faith right now and say, I want to do what he's doing.
Well, first thing I want to do is address your first topic. I'm an old man too. I'm 35 years old. I'm about to be 36 years old. So me and you are not that far apart. You're not that old, so it's okay. Um, but so I was a professional musician for a while. I played trombone, played piano, played in church. I was a film composer, so I was actually involved in the film industry. Spent some time writing, ghost writing, did some independent films, did some sync music. And as happy as I love making music, don't get me wrong, but as happy and unhappy as I was working my normal 9 to 5 job, I knew that I was always meant to do something creative, do something different. I just didn't know how to get there. So while I was in school, I actually was in school for marketing. I still wasn't happy because I'm like, okay, when I get out of school, I don't know if I want to typically work for another company. So I was working security at this school called Oxbridge Academy. This was a private school. And every day I was there, I'm always, mind you, I'm always thinking because around this time I'm doing music part time. I was burnt out, and I'm also in school, and I'm trying to build up ideas. So at Oxbridge, these are all rich people. These are all wealthy people that send their kids to school. So it's the proximity effect. I'm seeing these wealthy people every day. I'm touching elbows with them, and what I started doing is I just started questioning and asking questions. And I've always wanted for myself to be a family man. I have a wife. We don't have kids yet, but I've always wanted to be as you are right now, sitting by the pool on a Wednesday at 1 p.m. or whatever it is. I've always picture myself as that dad who can go to his son's games or go to his daughter's games because I didn't have that growing up. So I would sit there and I would fantasize about how to get there. What do I need to get there? And these were all business owners. So that's how the spark was created. Is during COVID, I came up with this idea. So I started writing a lot during COVID. Now I'll bring it back. But I started writing a lot. I started getting more into personal film, and I'm just trying to find my niche of what I want to do with my life. So the idea for Creation Avenue came around because I used to when I write and I compose, I have visual images in my head as I'm writing music. So one of the visual images that I had was from this show called Hey Arnold. And I don't know, some of your listeners may remember that. You may even remember that. There's this show, it's a cartoon, and it's based in this old, I think Brooklyn, I think he's from Brooklyn, and everyone from the town all live in this one little neighborhood. And that stuck with me. because I love like diversified game. I love diversity. I've always thought about, having a company or a group that's diverse. We have people that play trumpet. We have people that paint. We have people that can do everything. And around 2020, I'm like, okay, how can I get all of these things together? So as time went on, 2021, I started Creation Avenue at its like infant stage. Came up with the logo, and at the time, I only focused on the logo. I didn't know how to build a business, but I knew it felt good to start the business, just to start it. Didn't have any business, but it felt good to start it. So primarily, Creation Avenue was actually a music-based, more of a entrepreneur, not even entrepreneurship. I wanted it to be more mentorship based on helping kids that grew up like me. That's the first idea, but I didn't have that guidance and support, like you said, to mold my company. So I was all over the place. I didn't know what I wanted to be. But as time went on, going back to Oxbridge, every day I remember running into this parent, and this parent, he would come in every day. Every day, his son played on the lacrosse team, so he would come in, he would sit down, and he would wait for his kid, but he had his laptop with him. So I'm like, huh, how does he have the time to have a laptop? What does he do? So I went up to him, and me and him started speaking, and I spoke to him every day, and he told me he worked with the government. So I'm like, interesting. He motivated me to go back. So I actually enrolled in this course to expedite the process of starting my own marketing company. So once I started my marketing company, I rebranded myself from the original idea to Creation Ave Media. And that parent actually helped me to get into government. And then I started from there. And that's the journey of how I got to you. But yeah, that's pretty much how Creation Avenue started. It started from a childhood dream, and it molded itself and evolved to the point to where now I'm on my way to being hopefully a global brand. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Hello, everyone. Come along with London and Sydney as they show you around the vibrant country of Cameroon. Explore the heart of Africa through the eyes of London and Sydney. Two explorers who journey across the great city of Yaoundé, exploring its rich culture, vibrant market squares, cultural heritage, and wildlife. With giggles and excitement, London and Sydney Explore Cameroon takes you on a fun-filled adventure, providing insight into the country's culture and traditions through the pages of this book. It's packed with exciting stories and super cool facts about Cameroon that will make you go, wow. Get your copy now, available on Amazon and in libraries near you. There's only one easy way to experience the exploration of Cameroon, and it's through London and Sydney. Don't wait, get yours.
So for everybody who heard and that you listen, I got more listeners than anything, but you guys go over to the YouTubes, the Facebooks, however you can experience to get the game. But it was what I always talk about. You just started, and somebody somewhere down the line will help you get your party, started even at a bigger level, whether it's mentorship, coaching, the team members you hire. Can you talk about getting into the government? If that was your first, step in like the real business to be able to say, oh, I can actually pay my bills with this. Can you talk about that process? Because people will watch like a Burn Your Leisure podcast and think I'm going to make $100 million just because I said I'm getting into government. Oh, and just because Puff Daddy, came to my conference, people believe them because our people get caught up in what it looks like, not understanding how you actually, for all we know, you could have been homeless in your car.
Right.
Until then. So give them a little, some real game that they can use.
Yeah, of course. So, and that's the main thing. I worked, just to add to that story, I recently quit my full-time job last week. So this week is actually and I've had my business for over a year and a half. And last week was the last day that I worked my full-time job as a sales manager for Scott's Miracle Grow. That was my full-time job. So yes, you're right. Government. So getting into government, that wasn't my first thought. I actually thought, because of these courses that people take, and just be wary of some of these courses. The whole goal is for you to pay your money. I'm not saying some of them are good, but the particular course that I took, I think what it did for me is it helped me to believe that I could do it. That's what it at least gave me. Once I got to the end of the course, I felt, yes, I can do this, but then they asked for even more money that I didn't have. And I wasn't willing to go out and take out a loan to get additional coaching. So what I did is I took the road less traveled. I started reading a lot. I started networking with people. I did it the old fashioned way. I didn't do the quick way. So once I got that, that's when I started asking my mentor. I made him my mentor. He didn't just offer to come up with me. Mike used to give me, New Jersey guy, he's an architect for the government. He used to give me maybe 3 minutes, and it was very fast. And in those 3 minutes, I had to learn, how do I compartmentalize what I'm saying directly, because he doesn't have the time to sit here and baby me. So I had to learn, okay, if I'm going to talk and call Mike, I have to take everything and condense it very quickly to get where I want to be. So that's how it pretty much started. Is Mike gave me the game, but it was up to me to go and decipher the Chinese that he was giving me. It wasn't that he's giving me Chinese, but the game is in what he's saying. So I had to go and I had to research what prime was, what a subprime was, what an MBE is, what an SB. I had to research all these terms. So what I did is I started to research these terms, and I made a decision. First of all, I'm going to make sure that my company is going to be one of the main staples in Palm Beach County. That was my goal. So once I got in, I ended up reaching out to Terry Newton, who works with the Office of Equal Opportunity. And I instantly went out to the hardest certification areas to get is the Palm Beach County MBE certification. So basically with that, what they ask you for is they ask for all of your, everything that makes your business who it is. Obviously, you have to be a minority, but they also ask for something I didn't know about, was your tax receipt for your business, which can be attained through your local office. They ask for your, pretty much everything, W-2s from the last 5 years, which I didn't have. They ask for my blood. They ask for my last children. They ask for everything that you can imagine. They ask for. But what I've learned is that if you can get everything they're asking for, follow directions, don't think that you know it all. Like, ask questions. You'll get to where you want to be. That's the first thing. Second of all, you mentioned instantly making money. I haven't made a single dollar with the government. And I say that not to scare anybody off. I just won a contract with the government that's worth 6% of $25 million. I won that contract. That contract was from way back in April. So what I'm saying is, the game here is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, that's the biggest lesson that I learned, is you have to maintain status quo with your full-time job. You have to have income coming in to work with the government. Coming into the government isn't going to come and say, hey, we appreciate you coming and working hard. We're just going to go ahead and give you some money because we know that you're super passionate about this. The government's job is to obviously give you an opportunity, but you have to have another source of income and revenue to work with the government, because you may not get paid, as you know. You may not get paid for, it could be 5, 6, 7 months sometimes. So that is how I survived and I fed my family, was keeping my full-time job in conjunction with building my business at the same exact time. And meeting great people like you, meeting people like Terry, working, with the Office of Equal Opportunity, expanding my horizons with networking events and everything else, and not complaining about it. So that is the game that I've learned the most. Was the biggest lesson I've learned. Don't ever put all your eggs in one basket and think that being an entrepreneur is going to mean sitting at the pool on a Tuesday, or a Wednesday, and you're just relaxing and there's not any more work to do. So.
Oh yeah, and people have referenced the background. This is the 20-year-old dream. Like, I've done this,
right?
I've done
work for that.
Yeah, I've done this business for 10 years straight. Before that, It was branded something else. And so I tell people it doesn't come overnight, nor would we ever sell that to you. But you mentioned Terry. Shout out to him, and for everybody in Palm Beach County, at least, you should know Terry. You should know Antonia Smith.
Oh yeah.
Had her on the show. You should know Sandra Hammerstein from West Palm. You should know JJ, aka Jason from Apex Accelerators, aka PTAC, because these are people who can help you out in like getting a check, getting a bag, getting the information. And I should maybe do a whole thing on just them. Some of them can't do an interview for various reasons, but these are people that have benefited me, and I ain't from here. I ain't from here. I got to make it clear. I ain't from here. Nobody owes me anything when I come here, so I'm always blessed. So you mentioned and have some good people. With not getting a check yet, somebody will say, well, how did you quit your job then? If you haven't got a check, you must have got some private business or maybe a trust fund. Tell us the game.
Yeah. So as I say, a lot of, as you know, you've been doing this for a long time. Business takes planning. To be a CEO, and I put quotes for the people that don't have video. To be a CEO, if you're literally executing strategy. You have to be a master strategist. So it's not just a title. So I had to strategize my exit plan from my full-time job. Did I dislike what I was doing, and did I want to leave? Of course. Did I want to quit my full-time job and just go into my business and take the risk? Of course. With my 20-year-old self, without my wife, would I have done that? Probably. I probably would have made the mistake and I would have done that. But when you have a family to take care of and you have things that need to be done, you don't have that ability to do that because you have insurance that you have to worry about. You have, rent, you have a car note, you have all of these things. And what happens if someone gets sick? What happens if you need a surgery? Money has to be made. So what I did was in April, and I remember, I'll tell the story because I love telling stories. I'm a storyteller. I was sitting in Chick-fil-A, and I remember I felt so depressed about where I was at that time in my business. I had my logo, I had everything. I had the website. I was worried about stuff I shouldn't worry about, and that's the ebbs and flows that you go through as a beginner in business. Is you start to you get that initial, and I remember in class, I remember we talked about that. There's having a business is like that roller coaster effect. You go up and then you go way down and then you come back up and then you go down again and you come up for that final one. You go down and you go up and then it's up to you to stay on that mountaintop. So what happened with me was I lost that initial edge that I had. So it wasn't always easy for me. It got really difficult. Once I realized, I'm like, okay, that initial fun wore off where you started your business and everything is like great. I'm like, man, I'm a business owner. I'm a CEO. And once you realize like, hey, it's on you and there's no traction, there's no phone calls, there's nothing coming through, that you can't find anything. You're doing sales calls. People are saying no. They're hanging up on you. They don't have budget. Your heart starts to like beat a little bit fast. And you're like, oh man, like, what am I going to do? The government can't bail you out because that's not an instant thing. Based on the city, I live in Boca, it's very, very competitive here. So at one point, I'm like, oh man, maybe I'm not meant to do this. I felt like giving up. I'll be honest. So I remember waking up every day going to work, and I was depressed. I was tired every day. Mind you, I was managing a team. I had 12 Home Depots, 4 Lowe's that I was managing as well. And I didn't realize that the game, and Kellen, you know this, in life, the game is, yes, it's cool to get in your business, but it's also amazing to get one-on-one insight. I was actually getting insight in NBA training in my own company that I was working for in my full-time business. That's when it changed for me. When I realized that, I'm like, okay, what can I take from this business to my own business? That's when the whole game changed for me. So I started to write things down. I started to write down how meetings were done. I started to write down how, offering offer letters to any of my employees. I started to write down processes. How is the process with the HR process done? How are all these things done? Once I started to get through that, that's when it started to get easy. I remember sitting, I was at Chick-fil-A. This was during the eclipse, the day that we had that eclipse. I remember feeling, I'm like, man, like I need this contract, but I can't. I want this contract so bad. I remember getting the thing that I was certified. That's the first day I was certified, was on the day of the eclipse, I believe back in April. As soon as I got my certification, that's when everything opened up. So I got my MBE certification. I instantly called Terry, let him know the good news, and everything for me started opening up. Networking opportunities, everything. So I remember I got on this contract. So mind you, on this contract, it's important when you're specifically a marketing company on a contract, especially a minority-owned company. It's very important that you approach this contract with the prime as someone that offers value, not a handout or anything else. They don't owe you anything. It's value. So once I've learned, I'm like, okay, let me do my due diligence and see what I can learn about it first, and let me see what I can offer to the prime that can help. I ended up offering so much value that they looked at me as a prime member on their team. So it wasn't a thing where they're, hey, you have an MBE or minority business enterprise. We're going to bring you in and we're going to put you on the sidelines because we don't really need you. We're just getting you because you have what we need for the contract. Usually with these contracts, there's a stipend or something in the contract that says that they have to have a minority there's a certain percentage that they get that they have to have. So I made sure they didn't do me like that. So it was very important, second of all, to make sure that you're offering value, and then your color doesn't matter. All the other stuff can be handled on the back end. So you asked, and I took the long way around, but you asked, how did I get to a point where I can quit my full-time job? During my exit process, I engaged with a guy. He has a tire shop. He has 16 locations. So it's a multi-franchise tire shop, heavy-duty tires, big company. He ended up coming out of nowhere, and I learned in my networking, don't sell yourself. I wasn't selling myself. I wanted to meet him, and I wanted to talk to him. That's how that opportunity came about. So what I did was, after I'm in the process of getting that contract now, any day now, I end up saving money, making sure that my wife and I were safe. There's a bonus structure involved with my job. So basically what I did is I planned ahead, way months ahead. I save for months. I have savings for, the next number of months. I'm good. But like I said, it took a lot of planning. It wasn't just a spur of the moment thing where I had all of this money, I can just now step out. Sometimes it just takes planning. Sometimes it takes, hey, okay, if I have a husband, if I have husband, even if you do have a husband, if you have a husband or a wife and you say, hey, let's save for the next 8 months, that'll give you time. That's another thing that you can do. It just depends on how your bills are looking. But that's how I framed that. And I knew in my head, once I won that contract, I know that, hey, there's a possibility that I won't get paid for this amount of time. So it's just strategy, it's planning. That's how I did it.
And you got to love it that you stepped out. Now, when you talk about, for those husband, wife, it's a whole new day. So whatever you have, right?
Yes.
Nowadays, how did your, wife play an impact? And I say that not looking for, this, the typical answer. I want your truth, because I tell people this business, a lot of it is because of my wife pushing my boundary, saying, are you sure that can work? Whether it's questioning, or to a lot of men will be like, what, you doubt me? You doubt I can do it? Now, I met her, 20 years ago, but it wasn't like Hercules, like just you're the man. It was, are you sure? Are you planned? You need to go back. I have people I know who do close to 6 figures a month, and their wives will be like, hey, you might have to go back to being a lawyer, or whatever they did. So how was your wife impactful? Did she help push the process? Did she help you, in which ways did she help you? Because you're still married. So somehow I know she helped you, no matter if she,
Yeah.
Hercules you or whatnot.
Yeah. So my wife is my biggest supporter. Biggest supporter. She I mean, I can go on for years talking about how much, and like I feel like the our significant others, they they value safety over, you know, the creativity part of it. And yes, it's very important. A lot of it was a mixed bag of emotions at that point. So at one side, she wants to see me happy, genuinely. She doesn't like seeing me wake up and I'm, dragging, I'm hating what I'm doing. But at the same time, we have a certain lifestyle that we have to maintain. And, she was skeptical. She was very skeptical at first when I started doing it, because she saw the music side. She saw how that ended up going. Music took so much out of me. I can write right now, even looking at those waves. I instantly hear music. I can write now, but she knows that, when I was doing my music business and I was in that industry, how much of that time that it took from us, how much time that it took for me, and how long it took to make money. So she I think, to protect me, it was hard. It was really hard to convince her that I can do this, specifically leaving my job. Um, so it wasn't easy at all, because at that point, they'll support you to the end of the day, but the second that it's not going right, you got to head back and you got to pivot and you got to make it work. And that's pretty much what she said. She's like, look, I'm gonna support you, but if this doesn't work, then we got to do what we got to do. So that was like the main message, is that she never stopped me. She never did anything. Of course, she's worried. Of course, I mean, if I was in her position, I'd be worried too. But like I said, the real answer is that she was skeptical that, is this going to work? She didn't understand the business. She knows now. I talk to her about the business every day. She now understands it. She's literally my partner in the business. She knows every aspect of the business about what I'm doing, because I give her no choice when we go on our morning walks. But yeah, I think the main thing to convince her was her seeing my drive, seeing my passion, and of course seeing the plan. I think once she saw the plan of how this is going to work, I mean, you got to understand. I left a job where I had a company car, I had great insurance. We were doing fertility treatments. Everything was pretty much provided. They paid for our internet. They paid for everything. And I was willing to say, hey, take the car, take this, take that. I don't need the bonus. Take this. Like, it was great. It was they had great benefits. And I threw all of that away, and I put up quotes. I threw all of that away because I believe in what it is that I'm doing, and I believe in Creation Avenue, and I believe in my vision. So, like I said, once she saw the plan, she was all on board. And now, she pretty much, she was a teacher. She doesn't even work as a teacher anymore. We both left our jobs. And that was the goal for us, is everyone should have their own plan. Everyone should have their own dream that they're chasing. No one should impose anything on anybody else. If you want to go and live in a box in North Korea, then go live in a box in North Korea. If you want to go chill, in the Virgin Islands and be a bartender, our goal and our dream was to always be snowbirds. We live around them all the time. And we see how happy people are. If they want, hey, it's too hot here, let's go to our other place. My wife is from Serbia, so she's from a different country. So I enjoy going there. I enjoy traveling. She enjoys traveling. So we built our life around that. We're building the company around that. Of course, we got to work regardless. But my main thing was, if I can go and I can work in Paris and open up my laptop and jump on a sales call or a meeting, that'll be the happiest. That makes me more happy than anything. There's nothing in this life other than my wife and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that I feel more passion and fire about than being able to be any and everywhere and to have the freedom to go to and from. So that was that's a long, truthful answer.
I love it. I love it. Now, your wife being from Serbia, my wife is from Cameroon. So people say, hey, why do you, or how do you with the family do, so much travel? But your wife being from Serbia opens up a whole nother world to you. Um, is residency or citizenship or even having a home in Serbia, is that an option? Because I'm assuming you say you've been, so give us the game on that, because that's one of the countries people, they don't hear too much from, and when they do, it's always something negative, right? Because of the war and everything else.
That's more Syria. So Serbia would actually be Serbia. Are you familiar with Serbia is? So Serbia is
no Serbia. I'm familiar. Serbia had its own conflict. Again, I told you. I'm old. So and travel is what I do. So that's why.
Okay,
but Serbia,
perfect.
I remember Yugoslavia, right? Okay, so that's why I say what I'm saying.
Perfect. I just want to make sure because some people get it confused, and it's easy. I was one of them. Some people get it confused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so residents, so she is a citizen of Serbia and she also just got her citizenship here. It is possible. I can go and like I said, if you're a person that is a free spirit and you enjoy travel, there is one black dude that is in Serbia. He's a boxer. He's he actually lived in Puerto Rico. I was one of the only black people there. So in her town, specific town in Samba, there's not a lot of African Americans there. But if you go to Belgrade, it's completely mixed. It's completely mixed. And you'll find it in a lot of these countries, as you know, when you travel, we're not the only ones. You see everybody. It's a mixed pot in a good amount of these countries. So as far as residence goes, she has a house there already. Her father lives there. Luckily in Serbia, the houses are pretty big. So the yards are big. Everyone has their own like gate that literally you need a tank. You need a tank to take that gate down. But it's beautiful. The insides are beautiful. The opportunity that comes with that's not good. The opportunity that comes with being in Serbia is if you can bring your American money over to Serbia and let's say you want to get you a house, it's not hard for me to get a citizenship. I can do that, especially being married to her. But if I want to get my citizenship, I can go and say, hey, let me bring over, $20,000 and you literally can do an entire house rebuild on $20,000 because our money is pretty strong over there. And that's pretty much what we're going to be doing soon is remodeling and traveling back and forth, because I'm there every summer anyway. And I also go to, like you, I go to some other places. One of my dreams is Africa. I got to go and visit the homeland. But, I love traveling. So that's what our dream was and is at this point. And that's what we're doing.
All right, because we talk about that too, and I try to collect citizenships and residencies. For those who are on YouTube, you see me in my Sierra Leone soccer jersey. I love the $5 jerseys. And so Serbia, I love it. I love it. I love the options that gives you, your business, and your family. Now, I know it's still a new company, but my signature question is, what is a community give back that you're doing or one that you would like to do in the future?
Oh, perfect. Perfect question. That's a good segue. So we're actually in the process of, I have a team. I have 6 people at this point. So the business is growing it's growing pretty fast. I'm actually in the process of starting Creation Avenue Academy, nonprofit that'll be started. So I'm actually selecting board members now. This will be, I don't want to tell too much, but basically what this is going to be is a entrepreneurship program pitched to all Palm Beach County schools. And what I'm doing is the original entrepreneurship director of Oxbridge Academy, who had multiple awards of having the best entrepreneurship program for private schools in Florida. He's going to be my program director. So we're starting that pretty soon. just got done with the proposal. We actually have a meeting today. We have a couple of schools that we're going to be onboarding. And basically what I'm doing, because that's the core of Creation Avenue, is community. It's built into the name. And that's huge for me because I was a public school kid. I've never, I didn't have the privilege of going to a private school, but I saw how private school has an effect on, some of the private school kids that are there and some of the public school kids that had the opportunity to go to Oxbridge Academy. So one of my goals in this coming year for the next school year is to implement Creation Avenue Academy directly into some Palm Beach County schools to start off. Of course, we're going to onboard some private schools to get funding for that and to give a lot of the up and coming young entrepreneurs who won't ever have the opportunity to get a world-class education to get an education for free in our academy. So that's what we're looking forward to, is to give a lot of those kids, like I said, there's so many organizations and great. I work with Excel right now. I work and help out, Mr. Tom, who's a great leader there. And I got the chance to see firsthand how impactful it can be to have, legit mentorship and coaching with a lot of the kids. So that is the biggest initiative that we're actually implementing now. Is it's an extension to Creation Ave Media. And that's what I said about it being global. Is my mind is built that way. I'm not thinking about, yes, money is important, but I think more so I believe that God has us here. Certain people we all have different tasks, but my task is to build communities, to network, and to teach. So that's how I want to leave my legacy, and my imprint is on a lot of the kids that just don't have these opportunities.
From what you've seen and the way that you're, thinking about your business and your life,
yes.
What has taught you how to, handle the back office? Because great ideas come every moment. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I got a great idea, or the team has a great idea, but then how to strategy. And I get paid for strategy, but I always think to myself, I want to bring so and so in to make sure what I'm saying. Like, that's why having a good wife that can question you on things. Like, if you don't want to be questioned, I don't think you really want to win. Yeah, but tell me, like, what has helped you? Are there any books for that entrepreneur saying, I want to do this, besides your mentorship? Because they can't go grab another 3 minutes from your mentor. But are there any books? Are there any courses, any conferences that have really changed the game for you to say, oh, that opened up a whole new world for me, so I can keep this business, going strong?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people probably heard this. The first book that I think I've read in business would be Profit First. That was the first book that, and this book, and are you familiar with Profit First? I'm sure you are.
I am.
Yeah, that is the first book I would suggest any young entrepreneur, anyone that's just starting a business to pick up, because that is an excellent read. Profit First pretty much teaches you accounting 101, but it's basically the envelope system. He's teaching the envelope system, but he's putting it into the digital age now, where you take your accounts, you split your accounts, and it ensures that your business is profitable and you're actually winning and you're making something. Even if it's $13, you're getting something, but your bills are paid. So I would suggest Profit First. I think another one that I'm reading is Business Strategies for CEOs. That is another great, amazing book that I'm reading now, because at first I was reading a lot about marketing. There's a couple of great branders and marketers that I can go on and on about, Seth Godin and some of these other guys. But that doing great work won't help you, like you said, on the back end, because you can be great at what you do, but if you don't know how to handle keeping the business afloat, then your business is going to tank. You're just going to be a good marketer. So I think the book I'm reading right now is a book on strategy, business strategy. And it's basically what they do is they're compiling a list of all of the biggest Fortune 500 companies. Apple, Marriott, that company has had 3 CEOs in this entire lifetime. And basically what he's doing is he's compiling and he's questioning them directly on their strategy. their business strategy, their direction. How do they come in and how do they reform and build companies? And that's been helping me a lot as far as expanding, learning how, because and a lot of times when I'm telling people about my plans, they're like, whoa, how are you going to do that? You're focused on too many things at one time. And I'm sure, like when you learn, because you're an expert strategist. So when you truly learn strategy, it's really not that hard. It's splitting time. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm working on Creation Ave Media. Tuesday and Thursday, I'm working on Creation Avenue Academy. Like, it's not that difficult. It's just coming back and having the correct game plan and saying, okay, what am I working on today? All right, this is what we're going to focus on. I'm getting board members. I'm going to do this. What certifications do we need for this? How do I apply for this? I never mix in things together where I'm like all over. I used to be like that, but I've only learned that, like you said, from reading. Reading has expedited my wife was on me big time because I was always a person that thrived off of natural talent and a certain amount of IQ with quotes. But once I started picking up books, like you said, that changed my life because you're literally getting firsthand insight from a person and putting that into your computer system. So that's what I would say.
Okay. And I smiled when you said profit first, and you'll see in your LinkedIn why, because I've had Mike on the show before.
Excellent.
And when you can get it's when you can read the game, and even, before and after shows, you can hear people say things. And, I'm a fan of Dave Ramsey. Like, Dave Ramsey is why I don't have student loans and live, a debt-free lifestyle, minus the house. We're working on that.
That's
minus
okay.
the house, but it's yeah, I don't believe in debt. So when I hear that people say, "Oh man, you could do this, you could do that," it's like, nah. The house is a different game. Because I may not even live in this house forever.
Right.
I might rent this house out, and right now in Palm Beach, if you can rent your home, I don't care which home you have, you can go to a Kenya, a Cameroon, a Sierra Leone, and live like a king and a queen because houses here cost, a good amount of money.
Yes.
So I don't want to give people too much because you have your own podcast. We will make sure we have links in the description. I want them to go check out what you have so they can go learn. And because sometimes what you'll find out is it might be on the 5th year, maybe it's already happened. People will start telling you how lucky you are. And you'll say, wow, you never stayed up with me all night, all day, to get here. But I'm lucky because you just see what you see and how you see it. Puff Daddy was lucky 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and now everybody has their stories, and you see, there's more than meets the eyes. Transformers, right? So tell the people a little, though, about your podcast, what they can expect, if maybe you're started to jot your book down, and what if they get the book because you got the academy, going through Palm Beach. I hope Talented Teen Club gets pitched and y'all can work together because they are awesome over there. But give us some info, on that podcast and a possible book.
Oh yeah. So Creation Avenue TV it's always been meant to. So I run an Industry Insider. So I'm only if we're in our infant stage. So we're on episode 7 that I'm gonna get ready to drop on Friday. So basically, it's like you. We need more people like you, more people that are actually concerned with the well-being of our populace here in the U.S. and Florida, because so many people just don't know about the jobs that are actually out there. So the whole goal of Industry Insiders is to provide a different take on, like you're asking me specific, direct questions that only you would know, because you know that these are important for people that don't know. So that's what Industry Insiders is all about. It's more of an educational platform, but I'm what I try to do with my guests is I try to ask questions that everyone wants, but I also try to ask the questions that they don't ask, just so they can get insight. So for instance, I had someone from a radio station. There may be, what I'm looking for is opportunity. How can I not only ask the questions, but provide them with opportunity to possibly collaborate? She has a position open for a producer, a non-paid producer position. But if you're a high schooler that's coming out of high school and you've always, you go to Full Sail and like, hey, this is an excellent opportunity. Let me go and contact Julie and tell her that I will work for free and produce their show for free just to get my foot in the door. Like, that's what Industry Insiders is all about, is if I could find a way to provide more opportunity for people that are listening to the podcast, I want to change the game with that. Creation Avenue TV, also what you can expect coming up. Obviously, it's hard when you're one person. When you got a team, it's so much easier. Is, like I said, educational content, things that hold value to what it is that you're trying to do. Advertising and obviously uplifting Creation Avenue's Academy's initiatives, making sure that people know, people support. Maybe, hey, there's an opportunity that you want to, like, I want to be able to reach the populace, but I'm more interested in helping the people that were like me, just like you are. Like you've been at a spot, you've worked at a magazine, you did a lot of things. So a lot of people just may not know that some of these things exist, and that's my whole goal.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I don't want to give y'all too much because you guys know I can go Joe Rogan style, but I want to also see the growth. So when we do this again, we're both in Palm Beach. This is an answered prayer for me to be here. This is something, 7 years ago, we were like, where do we want to go? 10 years ago, maybe even longer, where do we want to go? And so if I'm not gallivanting around the world, with the family, Palm Beach is where I want to be. So you guys look in the descriptions, go check out everything, go subscribe, because I can tell you what you're subscribing to, people on YouTube, is where you might be in life. If you're not where you want to be, you're not checking out the Diversified Games, the Creative Av TV shows, the U-Flip shows, the shows that can actually show you how people got the money. And they didn't have to do Airbnb arbitrage or have 100 cars on Turo, because I can promise you that ain't working for the majority of the people. And this is what I do. You see one deal, I've seen 1,000 or more. Let the people know where they can find you, my bro. And I thank you for coming on.
Yes, of course. So you can find us on Creation Ave Media on Instagram. We're also on Facebook under the same name. We're working on, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Obviously, it takes a village, so it's not instant, but you can definitely find us there. We got a lot. Now that I'm full time and I'm actually in the business and working outside of the business, you can expect a lot more content coming on, specifically on Creation Ave TV. So thank you so much, Kellen, for everything.
You are welcome. And you guys, make sure the links that you'll see in the description, Creation, that's with a K, avenue.com, for you, drivers out there who are like, I'm trying to get the game. Say that again, creationavenue.com. It is a beautiful website. Very just everything put together, and just, you can tell, they got some perfectionists working over there. So it's good. It's good. So you guys, make sure you like this game. Make sure you can comment wherever you're experiencing it. But most importantly, make sure you share this game with somebody. It will change their life. Y'all be blessed.
Are you tired of the violence? Tired of the injustice? Police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed bias socioeconomic experiment called America? Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. DiversifiedGame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent and prepare for a journey of restoration and joy by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at diversifiedgame.com.